can get used to it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
All right. Call the meeting to order. Nina, please take the roll.
Councilman Bundy,
Present.
Councilman Brennan,
Present.
Councilman McCain,
Present.
Councilman Stokes,
Present.
Mayor Sykes.
Present. Let the record reflect that we do have a quorum for the Tuesday, May 26, 2020 meeting, city council meeting. Run down to recognizing people in the audience, and there are none, or hang on a sec.
Oh, just to see you guys.
Okay. We'll run down to item number 3, council comments. Council, you got anything really quick? All righty. The only thing I want to do is send out a huge shout out to Miguel, Todd, Dave, Robert, Kyle, Danny, all the people that were there. And I probably forgot a bunch of people that helped us try to get the water pipe from one gravel pit to the other this last week. It was a feat. It was crazy. Also, Adam at the cemetery and his crew. The cemetery looked amazing for Memorial Day. They did a killer job. So Miguel and all them and Adam are watching. You guys killed it. It looked good as always. You always do a great job. But I want to send a huge thank you. My last thing is Tiffany Belt, Miguel, and the crew over at Parks and Rec for winning the AIC award. U of I Extension, thank you for that as well.
Yeah.
That was awesome. First time, I think, in Mountain Home history that they've won an award for AIC, Association of Idaho Cities Award. It was good to see him, so it was cool. Righty. Item number 4, consent agenda, Councilman. Anything on that one? Questions, comments, concerns, polls?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Stokes?
I just had a quick question about item D, and it's kind of an offshoot, so it's not even that one.
Okay.
I was just wondering if the sheriff ever deputized any of our officers. You ever followed up on that, Chief?
Well, that one's kind of in the works and then kind of fell by the wayside.
Okay.
I did assist the sheriff in preparing a document to that effect and sent that to him, and then he hasn't got back to me in a while now.
Okay. Thanks, Chief.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
make a motion to pass the consent agenda as printed.
Second. Motion is second. I'll call for the question. Councilman McCain?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Stokes?
Aye.
Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
All right, discussion decision on moving forward with the Fresh Friday Farmers Market. Paula, you want to come in on that one?
I'm just gonna stand up.
Perfect.
Okay, so we took the council's concerns about the staff time that would be devoted to the farmer's market. And what we would like to do is kind of go over with what we have. So we have USDA provided the EBT terminal at no cost to the city. The banners and the flyers have been provided by the state at no cost to the city. We'd like to move forward with a manager. So the staff time would be limited. The manager would manage the vendors. We have worked on a handbook that has guidelines for the vendors. It would still be, the farmer's market would still fall underneath the city, so we would have control of it, but we wouldn't necessarily have staff down there. The EBT machine, there'd be no cash exchange. It would just be wooden tokens. So if you're a vendor, you decide you want to sell tomatoes, then you'd have to know up front that later a check would be cut to you. That would be, you'd have to turn your tokens in. We have a tracking system. And I've also checked with the city auditors, and they said they were fine with everything, just let them know when we got started. So we're just looking for a council approval to move forward as that, or if you have any more questions. No, we wouldn't pay the manager. It'd be like, the manager would set the fee like the golf pro set the fee for the driving range. It would be their purview of how they wanted to do that.
That's fair. Councilman Stokes?
Do you have any managers in mind?
I actually have two that
Okay.
want to do it, but we'd like to open it up with council permission, because there might be someone from Washington State that's managed a farmer's market before
Absolutely.
that says, hey, I could do a great job at this. Also, I did some research on other cities that has farmer's market, and I have a list of 3 I've written down at my desk. I could continue to research that if you want me to, but I know for sure that Eagle has one and Moscow has one, and then there was another one. So that's kind of what we did our guidelines by what they have in place already.
Councilman McCain.
The tokens. Now, so if somebody wanted to buy something there, they would purchase tokens how?
They bring their EBT machine to the terminal, and it would be limited. We wouldn't give you like $100 worth of tokens. We would, well, I don't know what how we were gonna do it. That's be up to the manager. But the tokens we already have, and so you would get $20 worth of tokens. You'd go to Nina. She sells you
Okay.
tomatoes. You give her the tokens. There's guidelines though. She can't sell you hot food or anything like that or socks. And then she brings the tokens back to the manager, and then the process starts.
Right, but we already have the tokens
We
and
already
you
have the
have know how
tokens,
that's
and
gonna be.
we got a
Okay.
grant from the Idaho Farmers Market to move forward with everything.
And that's only for the people that want to use EBT.
Even
If they want to pay
EBT,
cash, they can pay
right,
the.
they can pay the, okay.
Right. You
All
pay
right.
cash if you went there and said, geez. this-
Right, but for the EBT machines,
Yeah.
that would, what you'd be
Yeah.
using as tokens for that, yeah.
And this is the one where you get double bucks.
That's kind of like not really, that's how it's advertised, but it's like, well, our guidelines would be, we got the grant, it would be like, let's say you wanted to spend $5, well, you would possibly only get 1 or 2 tokens. It's not double, you wouldn't get $5 in additional tokens to spend, and it's limited. You can only spend it on fresh produce, so there's 2 different types of tokens. One is the fresh produce, and then there's one that you can spend on other stuff. Yeah, it's kind of a, I don't like how it's advertised on the state. I don't like how they do it, but
Yeah, because it made it sound like if I give you $10, you're gonna give me $20
the
for a
posters
token.
even say that. And
Right.
I'm like,
Right.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Brennan.
can you tell me more about this manager position? If we're not paying them, are they an employee of the city?
No.
How, what is it?
TJ's not an employee of the city.
They're contract.
Yeah.
They're like
Oh.
a contract, like TJ is at the golf course, a contract.
Contract. How's that manager making money? This is like going over my head.
That's okay. They would set their fee, just like TJ sets a fee for the driving range. You go out and he sets a fee on those driving range balls. They would set a fee to be a vendor at the farmer's market.
The vendor pays them. to-
Yes.
To operate everything.
Yes.
Okay. No,
But they have to follow in the guidelines of, our handbook says 50/50, so you could still sell a product, handmade soap, but the other 50% of the market would have to be some type of produce, some type of fresh produce. So we wouldn't have it as just those types of products.
Councilman Bundy.
Well, I think thank you for all the work you've done on this. I think it's going to be a great Fresh Friday program, and I think that incorporation of the EBT for fresh fruits and vegetables is a great thing. And keep us apprised on the manager and how that's all going. I think it's a great thing to pursue, and I appreciate all the work you guys have done on it, and the fact that we're going to have limited need for city employees to be there, I think is key, and that's good. So thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Stokes.
Oh, thank you. I think this is great for our community, our backyard gardeners, ag guys, anyone like that. And where are you gonna put this? I forgot. Was it El Herder?
Still in El Rancho
Oh, El
parking lot.
Rancho.
So we'll be able to utilize the parking lot, and there's grass there also. And the EBT machine is charged and it's wireless. So we made sure we didn't have to have electricity if it wasn't needed. And then ideally the vendors would be self-contained. They wouldn't use any of our stuff, so.
Since it's an active action item, do we need to make a motion for that? I'll make a motion and they'll go ahead and let staff go ahead and continue with their look for the manager for this.
Second.
The motion is second. I'll call for the question. Councilman Bundy.
Aye.
Councilman McCain.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilman Stokes.
Aye.
All right. Thanks, Paula.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paula.
Katz and Kyle. Sorry. How we doing, gentlemen? Go ahead. All righty. You got any, you want to give them an update where we're at?
So I did kind of what we've been all on the ground here so far. We have 24,467 feet, which is 4.63 miles of conduit in the ground totally that we've done. The fiber that's 288, which is the bigger fiber, we have 18,060 feet, which is 3.24 miles of that in the ground. And then the 24 count fiber, which is a small repair, we've got 6,045 feet, which is 1.14 miles. That all in the ground, which hooks up City Hall, Public Works, Fire Station, Police Station, golf course, and the golf course maintenance shop. And then over at the streets department, we got some fiber over there too. And right now we're working over to get over to Well House 6, which is behind Taco John's. We're about 3,000 feet from there right now. We're in Railroad Park, the back side of Railroad Park. And we just got to bore down, South 3rd West. We're going to be boring down South 3rd West to get over there, which I broke it up today. It's 9 different bores. We go every 400 feet, so we broke it up to 9 different bores. So we should be there hopefully by the end of June, because with pothole and restoring and all that stuff, it takes quite a while to get 9 different bores done. But yeah, so we've got all that, and we have 4,630 feet left of the 288 fiber, which will get us almost to Well House 6. So we'll have to order another reel of the 288. Probably won't need as big of a reel before. I think Keith ordered like 3.5, 4 miles of it or something like that. But no, we'll just have to order another one of those to reach the Well House. But as of so far, we've been cruising along pretty steadily. Any questions?
Do we have any idea when we'll be getting over to Parks and Rec?
So once we hit Well House 6, I've got a handhold that we just dug a hole for at the corner of South 3rd West and like right by West Schwab. Once we get to Well House 6, we'll be cut from there. I think it'd be the best thing to start cutting, going along between Pioneer and West Schwab and cut around there. But it'll probably be end of July, probably something like that is what we'd shoot for. Because it's going to take us about 20 days to get to Well House 6. And then if we jump, it's probably about the same length. So it'll probably take about another same amount of time to cut over to, then we still have to get a permit to go across the American Legion and stuff. So there's some other things we've got, Air Base Road. So there's some things, but I'm shooting probably the end of July.
But then that'll hook all of the city up on it.
No, we got to
we
go
still
out to the
have-
Well House 13.
On out, yeah,
And
okay.
then the sewer.
What's the other well house up by the airport? What's the one up at the airport? Right by the
13.
yeah, I said 13, didn't I?
Yeah.
And then
out by
the animal
Legacy.
shelter.
Yeah.
The animal shelter.
Yeah. So we still got just getting out to the one by the airport. It'll take a little while to get out there. Hopefully.
That one should be all good ground though
Yeah.
on the 5th side.
Yeah, and
street.
there shouldn't be very many potholes, just
So
jumping every
basically,
400
the other
feet.
side
But yeah,
of
we
the
still got, and
tracks.
then are we going, once we hit Parks and Recs, or we're continuing down South 5th to get to the sewer lagoons?
Yep.
So we still got that stretch to do, and then we're already on a section to where we can cut up to go up to that well house by Legacy Park. That little
Yep.
one by that walk trail.
Yep.
So we still have quite a few little places to hit along, but we're hitting pretty major places, like when shooting in between West Schwab and Pioneer Federal. They both opt in to get on the plan or whatever. Those are 2 pretty big, sustainable places. And but yeah, we've been cruising along, just taking it one well house at a time, pretty much. So, any other questions?
Mr. Martin? I was just making sure we're on track for maybe end of September, October, and then I was kind of curious how drilling might go in the winter boring.
So I've bored the last 2 winters or so.
Okay.
Just depends on the ground. I go down, it doesn't get too cold here, like the frost level's only a little bit. That can bore down to 4 feet deep, and that ground's the same. There, my only problem is freezing my water that I use. So if it gets like super cold, I can't use it, or else I'll end up breaking something. Like we're out potholing and it was getting frozen, so we ended up have to stop our potholing because it was cracking a filter because ice was building up in it. So that's the only thing that slows us down is the water freezing inside of the lines and stuff. So, and if we do that, then we, like this last winter, we were splicing the fiber and stuff. So usually what I'd like to do is like get as much boring as we can in the spring and stuff. And then the winter is when we get that trailer, bring this trailer in and start splicing up stuff because you can splice in the winter, no problem. So that would, so where we'd be doing most of our splicing would be the winter time,
Awesome.
To-
Thanks, guys.
use up that time.
All right, while I have you here, can we jump down? Do you have, I'm sorry, do you guys have any other questions for these guys? I'd like to
Sounds
jump
good.
down to the county boring project right
Yeah,
below it.
yeah.
Okay, what kind of gravel or rock or what were we in?
So we were in some pretty hard rock. It seemed like when I was pulling back, there was some like real hard clay. Because there's at one point, I can tell when I'm pulling back and it's like rocking the machine a little bit, I'm chipping off a pretty hard piece of rock. Then it kind of changed where I was still super hard. Like I was pulling back. I called our premier specialist, Shane Brown. Called him. He said to ramp up the RPMs that we need to pull through our 8-inch reamer that we were pulling through. So I ramped up those and I was pulling back as hard as the machine could. And if I pulled my rod back towards me more than like, it's got these like foot-pounds per rod or whatever. If I pulled back any more than 4, it would stop my rotation. And I think I was in some like pretty heavy clay that just boring my 4-inch bit and then pulling back an 8-inch reamer was just a lot for that to handle. And so I was only going like 1 inch every half an hour, but most of the ground that we were in, I think, was some hard rock and I think I was getting into some clay because I wasn't feeling it rock and hit off rocks any much. It was just steadily not coming. It was just, I could feel it was like being stopped by like a big hard wall of clay or something from what I know and stuff. And I went and talked to another Vermeer guy today. And he said the thing to do a lot of the times with pulling back an 8.5-inch pipe would be bore out with your rod, pull back with a 6, pull back with an 8, and then hook up to a 10 and up your mud supply, and then put in like a like a liquid agent that would help the pipe slide through more. Because all we have is bentonite. He said that there was a couple different types that you could use just to kind of make the pipe glide through there easier, so there's less drag on it. Because they're saying that hole prep is everything. He's like, just keep pre-reaming as much as you can, so that way the time when you do have time to pull the pipe back, it's not creating more drag than a reamer is already creating for you. So it's just a lot of hole prep, and just the way we were doing it when we were pulling last week, the reamer that popped off. Still think we were saying the threads were just kind of heating up just from the time being underground and popped the thread loose. So at that time, there's not much more we can do. So
what we're proposing, and I was going to come and ask you guys for $1,500, but Marina says that we're still within our 10,000. So she added the 2,000 for the reamer. So what we'll end up doing is I would like to use this Sawtooth Directional Drilling Company. They're going to use their own reamer bits, and that's what they do for a living. So, and then these guys can get some product knowledge and training time with them, and then it'll be 40 hours. Is what he said. Hopefully we get it done sooner, but he said it was 40 hours. Him and 2 people, and he was saying that for the 8-inch, you want to have 1.5 times the diameter, so you can bring a 12-inch reamer for that. And we don't need a grade because we just need to make sure the water gets from this side to that side. So, but that's what we're going to end up probably rolling with. I don't need to ask you guys for any more money. So,
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Stokes.
how long was that boring project? Like, is it 150 feet?
170 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we're putting 2 pipes in.
Okay. I'm wondering if you ran into Weeche or.
Yeah, we were hitting
Councilman
some like, because
Harvey.
when we were boring out, I was trying to keep it a specific grade because I was thinking water flow coming down at a certain angle. So I was trying to keep it at a certain angle, and out like our boring outfit is one thing, like it was cutting through there all right. But when I pull back an 8-inch reamer that's way bigger than the head that I'm pulling out. There could have been a hard Caliche rock. It was right above where I bored out, and it was hitting that and trying to eat through it. But I just know when I was pulling back, anytime I had a question, I was on the phone with Shane asking what I can do differently because I don't want to mess anything up. So he's like, yeah, he's like, if I was there, I'd be doing the same thing you are. He's like, you just gotta up your water, up your amps, and just go slow. He's like, reaming's not a fast thing. He's like, it's very slow. He's like, you just eat your way through, and that's what I was doing. And then thought I hit soft ground and started pulling back. Mare came down there, and I got like 2 rods left, and I pull back, and my last rod, I don't have my reamer on it, and I'm just like,
His face was so excited. He's like, only 2
I'm like,
rods left.
I was sitting there for like a half an hour every inch.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, finally, it broke loose, and I'm like, I'm coming back, and yeah, it broke loose. The wrong part broke. I was like, it was a rough couple days for me.
Yeah.
Got the pipe measured right.
Yeah, so it was a rough couple days. I was pretty down on myself, but it was just one of those things that happens on a job site. Like the Shane, he said that he lost a 20 or 30 inch reamer. He ripped the rod in half, and they had to go down and get it because that was a $30,000 reamer. So they dug through the road and got it.
They were like 20 feet or 30 feet or something.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, he's like, no, he's like, it happens. He's like, I don't care how good of a borer you are. He's like, you're gonna break. He's like, that's part of what you do. He's like, I've been around the best borers in the world, and he's like, they've got story after story after story of bent rods, broke rods. He's like, it's just the type of business you're in. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna stay away from that as much as I can, which I've done a pretty good job.
Just do boring. Yeah, no more reaming.
Yeah, just like, and it was my first time ever reaming, so it kind of shell shocked me a little bit. But no, we've been doing pretty good. Like I've talked to him about like what we've done. He said that for what we've been doing, my like knowledge level and stuff, he's like, you guys have been doing really well. Like he said that he has other companies that break major stuff every week, and I've done this and bent a rod in the last 2 years, so
Pretty good.
yeah.
How far did he get through that 170 feet though?
How far did I get through?
Yeah.
So I punched out all the way. I punched the whole 170,
Oh, okay.
and then
Pulling the
Katz
pipe
was
back
up
in.
there on a muddy hillside, putting the reamer on, and then it was. So I was pulling back the 170 feet, and I only had probably 80 feet left to pull. So I pulled back about 90 feet through there. It was just like that last 70 feet or so that it was just like I was saying, like every half an hour I would move 1 or 2 inches. So it was just a hard section of ground. So
Thanks, gentlemen.
good to go.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. You want to? Yeah. Thanks, Chief.
Mr. Mayor, on that, just confirming, previously the council gave, what was it, a not to exceed $10,000. And so your desire to hire this outside company is all within that 10,000 still?
Yeah. Because it was, we approved the tool.
Right, the 10,000 was not,
So I'm at.
the reamer was not part of the 10,000.
So I'm at 3,128 for the pipe and 342 for the machine.
Okay. What was the reamer thing you're saying?
Well, you approved us to purchase the reamer and it would become our property.
Okay,
And then in
correct.
addition to that, you approved 10,000
Not to exceed.
for the not to exceed.
So the other quote I got was 18,000 per hole from the other company. So I figured this is better. Yeah.
Just a little.
And then they're using their equipment. They'll use our bore rig, but they're going to use their reamers.
You have a time frame on that?
He said as soon as I get him a decision, he'll probably have his people out here in the next few days.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Stowe?
do we have to make a motion for that? It's an action item.
I think it was an action item.
If I need to ask for more money.
Okay.
But we're still
He's still within his money that we approved.
All righty, gentlemen, how we doing?
Good, how you doing?
How are you?
Good. Well, introduce yourself to the council.
Oh, hello. We're with Secret CSI of Idaho, Mount Home Academy, Industrial Way. My name is Dimitri Fain. I'm the executive director on site there. This is Vance Griffin. He's our bike expert, one of our guys on that RAM and a teacher. Mr. Gross also is helping with and helped start up the bike program there. Mr. Salas is the group living director, so pretty much he's coordinates all the activities with the students and ensure that they're coordinating with other departments.
Yeah, I'm sorry, discussion decision on leasing additional industrial park property sequel TSA of Idaho LLC. I got in trouble by the mom here.
To be on here is what we're
Sorry,
doing.
Mom. Maybe I was annoying just a little bit.
So Courtney, you want to give a synopsis as well, or?
So Demetrius and Mr. Payne reached out to the city because we were looking at potentially expanding people in the Mountain Home Academy out in the industrial park. So we met with him and we started going through everything. What they'd like to do to start with is lease half of the lot next door, and you should have that map with you as well. It'll be the one just to the right of them. Right now, down the road, they'd like to potentially expand, but that'll be, maybe a year in the future. We'll have to see how that goes. But for right now, the goal would be to expand the recreation options for their students. So looking at maybe a football field to start with, and to build out their BMX track just a little bit more, potentially a covered indoor gym as well down the road. So tonight, we just wanted to make sure that you would be willing to divide that property. And if that's the case, then we'll proceed and do the things that we need to do.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
Courtney, I have a question. On this map that I have, are they occupying all of block, or this number 3 right here currently?
No, so this is the one next door to them. They're in lot 4.
They're in lot 4.
So lot 3 is next door to them, and we're talking about taking the back part, 3A, for
Okay.
right now, and then down the road, the goal would be for them to expand to lot 3 as well and have the entirety of it.
Okay.
So we're just agreeing to split it into 2 parts and then we start leasing the first part. Is that the discussion, correct?
Yes, and the goal is not to do any permanent type of divisions of it. It would just be a lease, and show the lease would be the back half of it. We wouldn't go through the lot split process so that down the road we could,
We'd only be leasing half of it.
right? And just something came along, we can do the lease the front half if people want to continue it later or something came to us before. Does that make sense?
Yes, so the front half would, even if they want to split it, it would be fair game for us to lease it to anybody else at any time.
Unless they got there first. Well, I mean, we're not giving them first right of refusal or anything at this point. But the goal would be, we haven't had any interest in it, no, with them, so the goal would be that at some point they would just take the other part.
Okay.
It would only be obligating the back half.
Thank you.
Would we collect the lease?
Councilman
Oh, I'm sorry,
Lundy?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilman
Would we collect the lease yearly or monthly?
It's an annual.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Brennan?
So she mentioned like you're not looking at like permanent facility on the division of land, just temporary stuff that you'd be willing to just walk away from later?
Yes, and even to restore it back to a spot where you guys could, if it came down to it, could do whatever you want. So the goal of it right now, and just to elaborate a little bit more, is to take that back half. We know with kids, if you don't work them out, they will work you out. And so with our location, as we've expanded over the years, one thing that we've missed was that extra area for 60 teenage boys to run around with. So our first goal is to take the back half and extend what we currently have, or the bike track there, because that's the big thing that they do with our campus. Our kids, again, under the education of Mr. Griffin and Mr. Gross, they build bikes from scratch, from absolutely nothing, tires and tubes and sprockets, whatever, and they build them up and they use them out during their entire stay there. So the next part of that with the field, if that's something that, you guys want to keep, because our goal is to make it an actual football field size. I know talking with Mr. Gross and some of our team, we have some pretty talented employees out there that are able to run the sprinklers, lay down the sod and level everything. So with those two physical pieces, or those pieces, yes, we will either bring it back to where it needs to be or keep it where it's at so you guys can utilize it as you see fit. The front half is what, the goal of it is, as we expand as an organization, I foresee us attempting to build more dormitory units there, which would mean more for me, and to look at it, obviously reaching out for more jobs, reaching out for people to man those dorms with the kids, 16 to 32 additional kids. And then with the gymnasium, right now, they don't have anything on site that's covered. So in the winter, cabin fever hits. Working on the 16, sleeping and pretty much sometimes eating and working on the same place doesn't work. So the goal is, once we build that extra revenue as far as bringing in more kids and bringing up the location apart, we would like to do an inside gym so they can have somewhere to play basketball year round that's cooled and heated. So that, I believe we would take 100% as far as either to another school or either say, hey, city, this is here. If it's something you guys would want to look at, let's talk about it. If not, we'll take it to another location. But I don't see that happening. I think we've been pretty satisfied here. And I know every year they're talking, well, what does it look like? For me, we're going to be here. Mountain Home has done well by Siebel as far as I've seen in my 5 years at the organization and here. I don't foresee us going anywhere in the near future, in the next 5 years at least. So the first half is just for space, just to extend space and create new activity. The second part is more dormitories and an inside gymnasium. Inside gymnasium.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilman Buddy?
Are you done?
Go ahead, I'll wait.
That's funny.
Yeah, I think if we were to just go ahead and lease in the second half, I think when they say non-permanent, meaning like not building.
Yes.
Right, because I mean,
Yeah,
if you have that football field there, it could potentially be there for 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so you're not gonna lay concrete, you're not gonna build buildings, but you're gonna build things that could be long-term, which.
Yeah, down the line. Even with the modulars that we use.
Yeah.
They
And
get
then if
ready
you did
for them.
different leases on the front half,
Yeah.
that would be a different game at that point, so.
Yes, sir.
I'm in favor of leasing them the back half for recreational purposes at this time. I don't see a problem with it. It's, looks like the lease amount that we came in here is a standard lease amount for the acreage there. If we do need a survey, they've offered to do that, but you know what, we'd have to get with, Mike might know that, whether or not we need a survey. I'm in the middle of paragraph 2 there, Mike.
I think if we need anything, I think John could give us enough of a survey for just, because all we're looking at is footage, and he could go out and do that.
Probably just done our-
Yeah, John Matthews right here could do that for us.
Yeah, Courtney, go ahead.
And Mayor and Council, I forgot to mention, it looks like they'll probably have to go through a conditional use permit process to add on the recreational facility attached to the school, just so that we don't end up with a non-conforming use down the road. So you'll see that come up through as well, but we didn't want to go through the process without hearing it.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilman Brennan?
A couple of items. How long of a lease term are we looking at for the first go around?
I think right now we're on the year lease, year to year with you guys currently. Would prefer to keep it the same, but if not, I know I'm willing to go up to 3 if that sees, you know, if that helps with this decision a little bit more, to go with the 3. But if we can stay at the 1, I'm fine either way. I'm open definitely to you guys.
Mayor and Council, Mr. Gain, I believe you're on a 3-year lease, and I think you're already partway into it. So I think you have like 2.5 years left. And what Nina and I had talked about doing was to combine them so that this lease matched with your other.
Okay, I knew I got an email to sign a new one, so I thought it was time. So
And it may have been, I think it was maybe.
I would have to look, I couldn't tell, but we had looked that up and I thought that you had just renewed last year. I mean, it renews yearly, but you don't have to sign every year. I mean, you have a lease that goes and then renews every year.
So I mean, if we want to, and I don't know how that works on your end, if we want to start the fresh with that and start at 3, let's make it roll.
We were just gonna make them so they match.
That sounds the way to do it.
All right. Councilman Brennan?
My other thing, I'm sure you guys have thought about it, but in my short time as a councilman, I've noticed on the industrial park property, we've got previous tenants that build up the ground and invest money into it, and it's not your ground, right? It's leased ground. So oftentimes you have to either walk away from it or try to purchase it from the city with the investment you've made on it. But the city can't just sell it to you, right? So you guys are all aware of the dangers of that and. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
All right, Councilman, what do you want to do?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Buddy?
I'd like to make a motion that we lease the additional industrial park property to Secret TSA of Idaho LLC.
Second.
It's been motioned and second. I'll call for the question. Councilman McCain?
Aye.
Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Councilman Stokes.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, guys.
Maybe when you get back with the conditional use permit for it.
All righty, comments, final comments, gentlemen? Got anything really quick?
I just have one that, from what I do believe, they haven't updated it as of when I left, but I do believe Elmore County was still at 30 for the, Corona, which I'm glad to see after opening up for at least a week with restaurants and whatnot, so I just hope it stays there.
All right, and then on my end, everybody that is a business needs to go out for the rebound grant from the governor. I know a lot of businesses, Mountain Home, have gone out for it and have been awarded it. So it's been nice to see it. You can go to the website and see who has gotten it. So it's pretty neat. So definitely go out for it if you're business. I know a couple of our bars and restaurants and beauty salons, I think. I know at least a couple bars have gotten it. I know a couple other agencies have gotten them. So it's good that they are getting it. So, Councilman Buddy?
Almost forgot, but didn't forget. I just wanted to, the Mountain Home High School graduates had a great online graduation and a nice parade down Tiger Alley. So I think the community really, those folks in the community, the school district, and a lot of parents got involved and gave those graduating seniors a good memory, a good experience. So I just wanted to thank all the folks in town that got involved in helping those kids out. It was great.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Stokes.
I think the American Legion, I watched their Memorial Day service on Facebook, so big shout out to them. I thought that was great.
All righty. Run into item number 8, executive session pursuant to Idaho Code 742061F, conferring with legal counsel for the public agency to discuss pending or immediate litigation, likely litigation.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Stokes.
I'd like to make a motion to enter executive session pursuant to Idaho Code Section 74-206, subsection 1F, conferring with legal counsel for the public agency to discuss pending or imminently likely litigation.
Second.
So motion and second, I'll call for the question. Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilman McCain.
Aye.
Councilman Stokes.
Aye.
Councilman Buddy.
Aye.